As we are now beginning the second year of the Trump regime, or we could talk about how really it's been 10 years, but this second year of Trump's second term, I was trying to reflect back over the past year and think about what my biggest mistakes were. What were the errors that I kept making? How can I learn from those mistakes and make changes for 2026? And the biggest mistake that I made, and I made it a lot, I kept course correcting, and then I would find myself falling into repeating the same error over and over again, is that I kept worrying about getting MAGA to come to our side. I kept worrying, focusing, putting too much of my energy on getting people to leave MAGA, or how do we help facilitate that process for people leaving MAGA. While I do think it's important for people who are as lily white as I am, who have connections with folks in MAGA, to continue to have those conversations, have that door wide open. I think that is labor that we should be engaged in. I think too many of us worry too much about how to get people to leave MAGA. We spend too much of our energy. We're giving them too much, and it doesn't matter as much as we think it does. And y'all, I knew it. I knew it the whole time, and I kept doing it over and over again. And we could talk about, we don't have to, let's not talk about my pathology, whether I have a need to try and fix people and whatever. Been to a lot of therapy to try to do that less, but apparently some of that's still in there. But I know better, and I kept doing it anyway. Because if we're looking at movement building, if we're looking at getting people to risk it for a biscuit, getting them plugged into the resistance movement, taking action to defend their neighbors and their liberty, we don't do that by going straight for MAGA, right? That's not our target audience. That's not an effective strategy at all, to be like, okay, I got to get people out of the cult of MAGA process. They can take years and years and years, and they have to actually initiate that process on their own. We don't know what prompts that process. Deconstructing, peeling back all of those layers can take years and years and years. And they may never, right? No matter what we say, it's up to them. You can lead that horse to water, but you can't make it drink, right? So that's not really our target audience. And I think it's Heather Cox Richardson who said that no matter what, there's always going to be 20-25% of the population that's going to have pretty far right ideology. And it can be more than that. It can be 30-35%. They're always going to be there in a society. It doesn't mean that they are a barrier, actually, to us having a free democratic society where people have human rights and the Constitution is restored. And this is where we can, I don't want to say get bogged down in, but we can kind of misinterpret polls and worry about them in ways that we don't necessarily have to, because there's always going to be a chunk of the population that has far right kind of awful ideology. And so when people say, how is it that Donald Trump has an approval rating? Like, yeah, he's underwater, but how is it that anybody is still supporting him? How is it that anybody is still supporting ICE? In any free society, there's going to be that bell curve, and there's always going to be a chunk of people who have pretty despicable opinions. And it's not our job to correct them or save them or fix them. And I know this because one of the first things that you learn in any kind of organizing training or movement building, I couldn't find the graphic for it, and I'm gonna describe it to you. And if you are watching this and you know where I can find the image for it, let me know, or what the name of this little chart is, because I'm having a moment. Okay, so you think of it as like these different wedges of people, and we're over here, we're really activated, we're really plugged in, we're in it. We're willing to risk it, and we are viewing the world through the lens of resistance. We are looking for opportunities to resist every day. And the next wedge over, people who they're aligned with us morally, philosophically, politically. They know that Trump is bad news. They're even showing up to things like No King's Day, or they vote Democratic, right? They might be donating to the ACLU or what have you, but they're not doing a lot, right? Maybe they'll call their elected officials once in a while, or maybe they even would go to a town hall, but they're not doing a ton. Okay, then there's the third wedge. These are folks who, they know that things are not great, but they're not really doing anything, right? They think, I can vote in the midterms. Maybe they're improperly assessing the severity of the moment. They know that things are not great, but maybe they think we're just a little nuts. We're a little extreme, right? We're a little radical, and we're maybe a little overreactive, right? So they're going to vote in the midterms and pretend that this is all going to go away. And then move over one more wedge. And these are people who they're totally checked out. They're oblivious. They don't know that anything's wrong. They don't give a shit. They consider themselves apolitical, or they're not that bad off under Trump, and they're like, whatever, it's more of the same, right? Politics is all terrible. I don't have to participate because I'm privileged, whatever. One more wedge over. These are people who agree with us a little bit, like, yeah, Trump's not the greatest, but you know, I don't really care that much, or I like some things Trump does, and I'm okay with some of the things that he does, but I'm not happy with these other aspects. Like, I'm not happy with my bank account, and I'm not happy with what ICE is doing, right? Agree and disagree with Trump. And then one wedge over from that are people who are like, yeah, Trump is great, right? I'm like I'm like all in. I'm MAGA, and I think that Trump is amazing, and he's God's gift to everything. I'm in the cult, right? I'm so into it. I think we want to skip over all of these people and be like, I'm going to go save MAGA. I'm going to pick the really hard task. I'm going to take the like extreme heavy lift instead of trying to reach the people that are in the wedge right next to us. In effective movement building, you actually are just trying to get people to move one more wedge over. We're not trying to get MAGA to become us. What we're trying to do is to get MAGA to move to that position where they're like, I don't like some of the things that he's doing. Yeah, he's not actually a golden calf. He's not actually God's anointed. And some of the things he's doing piss me off, right? We just want them to move one wedge. Likewise, we want these folks who are right next to us, adjacent to us, who are aligned with us on everything. They just need to take bigger risks. They need to get more involved, make more sacrifices, understand their own power, realize their own power, and wield it. The focus of our activism in so many ways really should be just getting the people next to us to move over and join us in this last wedge. So yesterday I was uploading a video to the hellscape of Facebook, and oh God, it's so awful over there, y'all. So many bots, so much bot content. Anyway, I'm waiting for that video to upload, and so I'm scrolling through my feed, and wouldn't you know it, there's Nina Turner teaching me a lesson that I apparently need to learn over and over again. Stop aiming for people who disagree with you to agree with you. Aim to get those who agree with you to do something. That's it. That's the goal. That's successful organizing. That's how we mobilize people. We're asking people, we're reaching people and trying to move them one wedge. We got to stop wasting our energy trying to reach MAGA and get them to agree with us. This is why debate bro culture doesn't work either, y'all. That's not how you change hearts and minds at all. We should be focusing our energy on those people who are aligned with us, and we just need to urge them, push them, encourage them to take action. There are so many more people who agree with us but aren't doing enough yet for a whole host of reasons than there are MAGA. Then there are people who are truly in the cult of hate and retribution and greed and brutality that is Donald Trump's MAGA cult, right? Way more people, I think, in this second wedge than we realize, and that's who we've got to be reaching. So for me in 2026, I think that's going to be a lot more of my focus. Stop trying to save MAGA. We don't got to do that, right? Focus on those people who know that this is terrible. They know that we all deserve so much more than this. They are outraged at the horrors of what the regime is doing, but they don't know where to plug in. They don't understand their own power yet, or they haven't figured out where to connect and what to do. Those are the people that we need to be reaching. That's how we get the people power. That's how we build those muscles that we've got to flex. We're going to be flexing so many muscles this year, y'all. So many. We need these people in this second wedge to start doing the lifting with us. So what would that look like for y'all? What would that look like for you to focus your energy on reaching those people that are just one step away from us, that need that kind of that pull, that encouragement to get activated? What are the actionable steps that you can take to reach those folks?